with the Pro Bowlers Tour began 3 months ago. And along the way, we stopped in Tucson to watch future Hall of Famer Norm Duke soar like an eagle. In Reno, we held our breath and shared in the elation as Parker Bohn III rolled a perfect game. But Lady Luck was on Mike Alby's side that day as he captured a record third Masters title. As our journey unfolded, we witnessed Parker Bohn dominate the spring tour. Couch celebrate his first win in 3 years. We've watched these bowlers convert the near impossible. Today, we come to the end of our journey. Mount Hood rising majestically as our backdrop, we welcome you to Portland, Oregon for the season finale of CBS Sports coverage of the PBA Tour. Live from the Hollywood Bowl, it's the 1998 PBA Oregon Open presented by Budweiser. Hello, everyone. I'm Gary Seibel, along with PBA Hall of Famer Marshall Holman. Well, our final tournament of the season, a year, Marshall, which has seen a great deal of change on the PBA Tour.
You're right, Gary, and the biggest change has been our format. There are only 2 matches, a shootout round and the championship match. And it's more exciting. In the shootout round, Gary, 3 bowlers, only 1 spot to get to the championship match, and our pace of play is a little faster as well. I think that lends itself very, very nicely for our tournament leader, not waiting around in the wings quite as long.
So 1 more tournament to go. Who do we have in our season finale today?
Well, our tournament was led. Our #1 seed is Danny Wiseman, and it was just last week when Wiseman missed converting the 3-6 spare and was left out of the top 4 by just 1 pin. But this week, it's redemption for the smooth-stroking Wiseman, who was able to make the proper adjustments and quality shots on this demanding condition to get to the top seed. Now, Danny Wiseman will meet the winner of our shootout, and our shootout consists of Norm Duke, Sean Swanson, and Tommy Delutz Jr. Norm Duke called upon his great ability to throw the ball straight and then use the big hook in his quest for his 15th PBA title. And Sean Swanson had things going his way, but this rookie with slow ball speed and a big hook had trouble on Friday night and had to dig deep to hang on to the top 4. And Tommy Delutz Jr. is a player with classic form, but he really wasn't much of a factor until he made a strong charge late on Friday night.
So we are set to begin our shootout round of the PBA Oregon Open. Tommy Delutz Jr., Norm Duke, and Sean Swanson. Bowlers began qualifying for this tournament on Wednesday. They bowled 42 games to cut it down to our top 4 seeds today, and the winner takes home $19,000. Here's Tommy Delutz. First to bowl, leaving a solid 10-pin, Marshall.
Yes, he did. He left a little bit of a 10-pin. It really made a good shot. Just came in a little bit late into the pocket. Shouldn't be any problem. Good spare shooter. You can see he switched balls, going very straight to shoot the 10-pin.
Tommy Delutz Jr. converting a spare in frame #1 to open up our shootout round. Norm Duke. Marshall, I guess you'd call him the seasoned veteran of the bowlers in our shootout round today, without question.
Well, with 14 PBA titles, he's the one with the most experience, and he goes with the big hook and another 10-pin.
Our TV pair today, lanes 33 and 34, and our 4 bowlers today in our championship round, combined average of 223, just over 223 on these 2 lanes.
You'll see Norm Duke go very, very straight. One of the best spare shooters on our tour, on the PBA Tour, and he does convert the 10-pin.
And now Sean Swanson. As you see, 29 years old, 3rd seed, a right-hander from Springfield, Missouri.
He's got an interesting style as we'll watch the way he sort of creeps up. Look at the large hook. Scatters those pins around. Take a look at Sean Swanson. He sort of shuffles his way up to the line, doesn't start the ball until his third step. Good slide, nice reach out to his target.
Tommy Delutz Jr. starting out frame number 2.
And in watching them practice, lane 34 was the lane that was not hooking back as far. Let's take a look. Using the CBS Mac Cam, the ball hits very, very light in the pocket. The 2-pin goes around. The head pin goes around the 2-8, and he's really left with a split that he just should try and get 9 on. Get the 2-8, Tommy.
And that's what Tommy Delutz Jr. did. As a matter of fact, Marshall, he's played these lanes better than the other 3 gentlemen, Swanson, Duke, and Wiseman. Delutz with a 248 average in 4 games on lanes 33 and 34 here at Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, but Gary, that was yesterday. The lanes are a little bit different today. Actually, in practice, I saw Tommy Delutz struggle, and also Norm Duke wasn't looking very sharp. Now look, he's throwing the ball very straight on the left lane and hooking it on the right. That is the mark of a seasoned player, using 2 totally different angles. You can see he knows it's close, but just barely got up there, was able to get the strike in the second frame to even up with Sean Swanson. But Sean has the opportunity to take a 10-pin lead early here in the second frame.
Sean, one of the leading candidates for PBA Rookie of the Year. And a win today would help him go a long way to capture that title.
Well, it sure would. Very tentative for the last delivery for Sean Swanson. As I said, the right lane does not hook as strongly, so you'll see a lot of the players guiding the ball on lane 34. You have to be able to trust your game, let the ball go.
3-6, and he does.
It just barely gets a little piece of that 3-pin. That's got to settle the nerves down a little bit for Sean, who in his first telecast got to be a little bit nervous.
Sean Swanson, Norm Duke even up. Tommy Delutz Jr. finds himself 14 pins down early on after 2 frames.
And a textbook shot from Tommy Delutz Jr. Watch how he gets the ball well down the lane. It's hooking back. It's solid in the pocket. He knows right now he's made a good shot. All the pins are down. Now, what is he going to do on lane 34? Well, a couple minutes for you, Tommy. Really the same thing that we saw Tommy Delutz do in the second frame. He's trying to throw the big hook on lane 34. Watch as he starts the ball inside the 4th arrow. Well out, almost to the 3 board, but it does not have enough power to come back. He leaves the 2-pin, the 10-pin. He must get the ball left of that 2-pin, slide it into the 10.
Norm Duke won the 1995 Oregon Open, and he's had a great deal of success here at Hollywood Bowl, but not on that shot.
No, and not only does he not make the spare, but he gives up a couple extra pins. Being on a strike, when he missed the 2-pin, it cost him 2 extra pins. So he'll find himself now down 14 pins to Sean Swanson, as well as Tommy Delutz is down by 14.
And Swanson, the bowler that you said looked the best in practice.
They seem to have the best line to the pocket. Once again, he shows it on lane 33.
We have just begun in the shootout round of the PBA Oregon Open. We'll be back. Through 3 frames in our shootout round of the PBA Oregon Open, and rookie Sean Swanson, 14 pins on both Tommy Delutz Jr. and Norm Duke. Now for the Alka-Seltzer Friday night recap, where the position round determined who made today's TV Finals. Big night for Danny Wiseman on Friday, defeating Norm Duke to get the #1 seeded position.
And here's Danny Wiseman as he makes the great shot late in the game to take the #1 spot away from Norm Duke. And Tommy Delutz Jr., he made a real strong charge on Friday night to get to the top 4. Solid in the pocket for Tommy.
And Pete Weber was 4th going into the match play in position round, but shot a 188 and dropped from 4th to 5th to miss the show. Rookie Sean Swanson had the best match play record. That's this week's Alka-Seltzer Friday Night Recap. Great week here at the Oregon Open, thanks to proprietor Mark Frank of Hollywood Bowl. And alongside is PBA Assistant Commissioner Kevin Shippey. Well, CBS is pleased to announce that we're extending our deal with the PBA, and you'll be able to watch the Pro Bowlers Tour on CBS during each of the next 2 seasons. We'll be back on April 17th of 1999. Tommy Delutz Jr. will start things out in the shootout round, frame number 4. Huge Mets fan. I'm sure that Tommy couldn't have been happy with the score of last night's game between the Yankees and the Mets, but he's had to be happy with that shot.
Right now, I don't think he's thinking about the Mets. He just took that 14-pin lead, and he took it, made it into a 4-pin deficit for himself. Watch the ball come back. Look at the 6-pin, knock the 10 out. He knows he's made a great shot, but will he carry the 10? Did you see the 4-7-9? Really a quality shot, but the ball just comes in just a little bit too high. Watch as we take a look. There's the 4-7-9. Not a very good break for Norm, and he can't believe it right now. I mean, he's thinking that's got a good chance to strike. Ends up leaving a tough split. Very difficult. Must get the ball left to the 4-pin, slide it into the 9. Can he get it done?
Norm Duke with his second Open, Marshall, and that really puts him behind the 8 ball.
And truly one of the most frustrating things in the game of bowling. Norm Duke just made 2 good shots. One left the split, the other just barely overcut it, didn't make the spare, and now he's way down as Sean Swanson, working on a strike in the 3rd, can take that lead back up to 14 pins with a strike here on the tough right lane.
And it looks like he came in a little bit high, leaving the 6 and 10.
Well, square on the nose. Once again, it's hard to make yourself throw the ball far enough to the right, because you know if you do, it may not come back. So he's guiding the ball on lane 34. Lane 33, he's freewheeling. He's got a good shot there.
Coming up next, live 3rd round coverage of the Motorola Western Open from the Par 72 Cog Hill Golf and Country Club in Illinois. And we'll take a look at the leaderboard. Joe Durant, 9 under. Vijay Singh just a shot behind. And recent U.S. Open winner Lee Jansen stalking those 2 shots behind the leader. Coming up next here on CBS Sports.
Strike here for the lead. Well, a lot of the guys out on tour call him TV Tommy Delutz because he made a couple of shows in a row a year ago. And you see the perfect reaction to the perfect shot and the lead. And Gary, plenty of frames left for Norm Duke. He is in the rears by 32 pins, but it's still very early in the game. He's not counting himself out.
Tommy Delutz Jr. now on top with Sean Swanson in second. Norm Duke with a lot of ground to make up.
Let's take a look at Sean Swanson. He takes very small, almost like little baby steps, sneaks up to the line, makes a good shot here, but doesn't get the right amount of fingers in the ball, didn't get enough roll, wasn't able to hook it back into the pocket, leaves the 2-8.
And we're also seeing Sean wearing 2 different colored shoes. Marshall, after he picks that up, what's that for?
Well, he wears the 2 different shoes. They're certainly not a match set, as you can see. The right shoe gives him a little more grip so he can push off onto his slide step. That's why he wears that different colored right shoe.
Starting out frame number 6, Tommy Delutz Jr., a good friend of John Burkett, pitcher for the Texas Rangers. Burkett himself averages about 220, Tommy told me.
There's that right lane once again, Gary. The ball just does not bite as good as on the left lane. They've got to be careful. Fortunate just to leave the 1, 2, and 8. If that ball hooks up a little bit higher, he'd have had a washout. He knows it's gone. He's happy with what he left. This is a spare he should make, but there are many ways to miss it as well.
And there was one of them, yeah.
That's a tough break for Tommy. Did not make the good shot there. And really now with this open, watch as the head pin gets bounced out of the way of the 8 pin. That puts Norm Duke not only closer score-wise, but it gives him the mental lift necessary to really get back in the match.
And at this point, the veteran knows this is the break he may need to get himself right back into it, but not when he makes shots like that, Marshall.
No, he can't be happy with himself as he throws away a golden opportunity to put himself right back in the match. And right now, Sean Swanson is the recipient of some bad shots by both Tommy Delutz and Norm Duke. He's got to feel good about his chances.
1994 PBA Player of the Year, Norm Duke, 14 national titles, the youngest player to ever win a PBA title at age 18, on the ropes right now.
And really made a great shot there. Great shot at the 1-2, 8-10, but we'll take a look. Watch the head pin as it goes around the 10 pin. Did a great job making the shot, put the ball where he needed to. Unfortunately, wrapped it around. Can Sean Swanson take advantage on the lane that's given him nothing but trouble? And once again, Gary, he comes in high. Every shot on that lane.
And Sean Swanson leaving the 3 pin. That's what he'll need to pick up for his spare conversion as we finish out frame number 6 in our shootout round.
And Rich, I'll tell you right now, Sean Swanson is very fortunate just to leave this 3 pin. That could have been a wide open split. Shouldn't be any problem as he converts.
Sean Swanson converts, but it's still anybody's race, including Norm Duke's. As we travel down memory lane this week, we take a look back at 3 of the shots of the year. 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas, Jason Couch nailed this 4-10 split to capture his 5th PBA title. And just last week, Steve Hoskins converted a similar shot to win the rich AC Delco Classic. But who could forget back in Reno when Parker Bone III rolled only the 12th televised 300 game in PBA history. A perfect performance by one of bowling's best.
And you can see Parker Bone III, the leading candidate for Player of the Year with 3 titles and more money than anybody else. Walter Ray Williams hasn't made one of our telecasts, but having a solid year. And Jason Couch, who has a win on the CBS segment, right there up there with a chance for Player of the Year.
One of our 3 bowlers in the shootout round will advance to meet Danny Wiseman, the top seed in this year's PBA Oregon Open. We are moving into frame number 7, and Tommy Delutz Jr. leaving a 7 pin.
That's the kind of shot that would normally strike. The 5 pin was diverted and moved out of the way, didn't knock into the 7 pin. With these powerful balls, the guys like to hit light. Rather be light than heavy in the pocket, Gary. Hard, straight, look. Did it hear me?
It must have. That was the conversion by Tommy Delutz Jr., but Marshall, there have been quite a few opens so far in the shootout round. 3 for Norm Duke, a couple for Tommy Delutz Jr., Sean Swanson with none. That is probably why he finds himself on top.
That certainly is helping him quite a bit as we take a look at how Norm got to the 2nd seed. Right now, Norm Duke is saying, all right, I've got this right lane figured out. Now I got to get the left. Take a look at Norm Duke. Actually, 7 steps. He starts out backwards, then he goes forward, shoulder high backswing, great reach. He's got big hands for a small man and really gets around the ball.
Just what the doctor ordered for Sean Swanson. Speaking of the Swansons, there is his lovely wife, Lita, and his lovely daughter, Anna, and their other daughter, Indigo, is back home in Des Moines with Lita's mom.
Anna mugging for the camera, having a good time watching Daddy ball. There's the great shot on the tough lane. Kind of shaking his head. Tommy knows time is running out. Take a look as he projects the ball well out onto the lane. Good fingers. It's going to dive left. Absolutely, Tommy. That's what you need to do.
And this is the house where Tommy Delutz Jr. made his first TV appearance.
And for Norm Duke, he's been going light. Now he goes high. This is a shot that it really is probably going to take him right out of it. You take a look. You can see the ball going right through the heart. He's got the 3, 6, 9, 10 on the right, and he's got the company of the 4 and the 7. Needs to get the ball in this area. Knock that 3-pin over in the 4-7. It is possible, but it is highly unlikely that anybody can make this tough split. And for Norm Duke, he tried to get the ball well to the right and hook it back. He ends up throwing the ball into the channel. Unfortunate and unbelievable for an accurate player like Norm. Looks like he might have stuck at the line a little bit. That puts him in a position where if he strikes out, the best he can do is 160. And for Norm Duke, he certainly has to be furious with himself right now.
Sean Swanson now will complete the 8th frame in our shootout round. And again, Marshall crossing over there a bit, certainly coming in high.
Yeah, he has yet to make a good shot on 34. And in practice, Gary, I mentioned to you that he looked good on both lanes, but it's just tentative. And I don't care what sport you're involved in, you cannot produce good shot making with a tentative stroke.
Well, right now, Sean Swanson with a possible 217, Tommy Delutz Jr. possible 221, and Norm Duke with just a possible 160. Boys 200. That's tomorrow starting at 2 p.m. Eastern right here on CBS Sports.
Well, that shot right there is going to go a long way to putting so much pressure on Sean Swanson as Tommy Delutz takes the lead. He knows that if he can strike here, he's got a man who's never been in this position before. Makes a great shot, ball into the pocket, hard charging, good heavy roll, takes care of all the pins.
Norm Duke back on track with that strike, but too little, too late.
Yeah, with the possible 160 right now, Norm is just trying to, get out of Portland with a credible finish. It's really between Sean Swanson and Tommy Delutz. And Tommy Delutz has got the hammer right now because he's got that strike up in the 9th. On his good lane.
Once again, came in high right at the head pin.
Not unusual for a player on his first telecast. Take a look. Too much head pin. He leads the 3-6. Needs to make this spare. He still is only just a few pins behind. He's got to, still has an opportunity, but must make this spare. Put the pressure on Delutz.
Does convert the spare for Sean Swanson, frame number 9. This will be it, the determining factor for Swanson and Delutz. Delutz needs 1 strike and 8 pins to wrap up the shootout.
But he's finishing on lane 34. That has been the lane that's given the players the most trouble today. He struck on it last time. Can he take care of business here in the 10th? Doesn't get the strike, but fortunate just to lead the 5. He crumbled down the bucket. Take a look at this. Take a look at the 2, 4, 5, and 8. There they are. Now they're going to start falling over, and it's nothing but the 5-pin, and you can bet he's pleased. He just has an easy 5-pin to shoot out here in the 10th.
Tommy in a slump for the last 6 weeks. This could be sweet as he breaks out of it.
Now Tommy Delutz with a strike and a spill ball can shoot 200. Sean Swanson would need 2 strikes and 6 pins to shoot 201. It'll be very interesting to see how Sean Swanson takes care of business in the 10th frame, as Norm Duke really been relegated to nothing more than just a spectator. That's the one he wanted the first ball in the 10th, but I think he feels pretty good about the way he bowled. The conditions today are very demanding. There's not a lot of room out there. You throw the ball a little bit wide, it doesn't hook back. And there's not a lot of hold in the middle of the lane. So when you throw the ball a little left, it goes right to the head pin. A friendly roll of the 6-pin for Norm Duke, and a little bit of a wry smile as he knows he's not going to advance.
All the pressure now on Sean Swanson. Obviously, he'll have to wait for Norm Duke to finish out as Norm picks up his 2nd consecutive strike in the 10th and a 3-bet.
Well, as I said earlier, making a credible finish, shooting 160, just trying to get out of the way so he can lead the stage wide open for Sean Swanson. Norm Duke finishes with 1-5-6. I'm not sure if he's ever bowled any lower than that on television, but still a very good week for one of the best players we have in all of bowling.
Now Sean Swanson, as you see, needs 2 strikes and 6 pins to win.
And he has not hit the pocket on this lane once. Very difficult task. Trust that ball, Sean. That is exactly what he needs to do. What a great shot. One more. Tommy Delutz is going to be watching the next match. We would think that Sean would be able to get the 6 pins, but first, can he throw this second ball in the 10th?
Looking for his first national title. Before he gets there, Marshall, he has to win the shootout round and earn the chance to go on against Danny Wiseman, our top seed.
So much pressure right now. He trusted it. Looks good. He has thrown 2 of the best shots of his life, the 2 most pressure-packed shots of his life. He still needs 6 pins to get to Danny Wiseman. Watch this as he projects the ball well down the lane. He finally trusted his game on the right-hand lane. Right now, he knows he's made a great one. All right. He's not a very emotional player. That's about as excited as Sean Swanson will get. Can he get 6 pins? That's a yes.
Right down the middle for Sean Swanson. He will move on to the championship match to meet our top seed, Danny Wiseman. We'll be back in a moment. Sean Swanson advances to our championship match, score of 203. If either Sean Swanson or Danny Wiseman rolls a 300 game in the championship match, he'll receive a $1 million bonus courtesy of the Showboat Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Center in Las Vegas. In addition to our top 4 seeds today, 20 other bowlers made match play this week. 55-year-old Ernie Schlegel of Vancouver, Washington battled it out with the youngsters all week and just missed the show at number 6. The consistent Doug Kent checked in at number 11. Doug made one of our shows last month, losing in the championship match to the Greater Detroit Open. Adam Monticelli made 2 CBS telecasts this year in New Jersey and Las Vegas, but this week wound up in number 15. Hugh Miller, a former full-time touring player, showed the form that won him 6 PBA titles over the years. He finished 19th. And Michael Luft, who led the qualifying rounds of the Oregon Open, had trouble in match play and faded to 24. We all know that change is good, even when it comes to the bowling universe. With more on that, here's Marshall Holman with our tip of the week.
We've seen a variety of changes on the PBA Tour this season, from the updated format and new arena setup to the all-new Gold Pro pins. But the professional tour isn't the only thing to see change in the world of bowling. The recreational side is realizing modernization as well. Welcome to the world of cosmic bowling. Conceptually, the game is the same. There are still 10 pins at the end of the lane, and you're still trying to bowl 300. The environment, however, is dramatically different. You'll be bowling in a club-like setting with music and pins that glow in the dark, ranging in color from lime green to hot pink, while you might even have a disco ball spinning from above. It's the same game with a whole new spin. While the competitive tour is here to stay, recreational bowling continues to prosper. As a matter of fact, bowling is the #1 participatory sport in America, with over 55 million people bowling per year. The bottom line, whether you're a cosmic bowler or still appreciate the more traditional game, there's an option for you.
Well, will it come down to the planets being in proper alignment for one of our bowlers today? We're about to find out. The championship match between Sean Swanson and Danny Wiseman is coming up next after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to CBS Sports coverage of the Pro Bowlers Tour and today's PBA Oregon Open. We're getting set for our championship match between Sean Swanson and Danny Wiseman. At the head of the pro pins for the 1st and 5th frames of this championship match is the Bud pin. If either bowler strikes during these 2 frames, Budweiser will make a $1,000 contribution to the PBA Tour Foundation. And Marshall, Sean Swanson, Danny Wiseman hook up in the championship match. Sean Swanson earning his way into this one, a tight finish in the shootout round.
And Danny Wiseman doing a smart thing. He's making Sean Swanson finish on the tough right lane, number 34. Came in light. He leaves the 2, the 4, the 5, and the 8. Not unlike the shot that Tommy Delutz threw in the 10th frame. Tommy got the nice roll of the pins. Everything fell but the 5. This is an extraordinarily difficult spare. Needs to get the ball in between the 3 and the 5. Make sure he's got enough roll to get the sleeper 8 pin. And one of many ways to miss it as he chops the 5 pin straight back. Take a look. The ball's going to come in high onto the 2 pin. He leads the 5, and a great opening for one of the toughest men ever on national television, Danny Wiseman.
Here's Danny Wiseman up in frame number 1, and his first shot is a beauty.
Take a look at this beautiful form. Danny Wiseman starts to push away in his second step. Shoulder high backswing, a little more slide than most of the players as he projects the ball well down the lane for the strike.
That's $1,000 to the PBA Tour Foundation, courtesy of Budweiser, with Danny Wiseman's strike in frame number 1. Wiseman, a right-hander from Baltimore, 30-year-old.
That's just what you want to do. Come out strong. You don't want to give Swanson any chance. He opened early. Wiseman goes strike, strike to take a 21-pin lead after only 2 frames. John Swanson is going to have to be tough on this right lane this game. Danny Wiseman off to a fast start, and look at that. The 3, the 6, the 4, the 7. Another tentative shot, ball creeping up high. It happened to Sean all last game. He was able to get the break and not lead the split. This time, he leaves himself a difficult split, has a chance to make it. Needs to slide the 3 pin into the 4 and the 7.
Sean Swanson missed the pocket 6 times in the first match, and now, without an open frame in the shootout round, has started out the championship match with 2 opens.
Makes a good effort, has the ball just a little too much of the 3 pin, not able to knock that into the 4 pin. He makes a good effort, but for Sean Swanson, he's got 18 pins in the second frame, and he's down 32 pins to the tough Danny Wiseman.
And leaves the 10. Certainly needed the strike, but will have to take the spare conversion.
Well, needs to settle his nerves a little bit. He's in his first title match ever. If he were to win this tournament, it would really go a long way to securing his position as this year's Rookie of the Year. Danny Wiseman, not even watching, taking care of his own business, a very veteran play.
And Sean Swanson does convert the spare in frame number 3, but again, no opens in the first match, and he starts out first 2 frames of the championship match with 2.
As you saw, Danny Wiseman had a 300 game earlier in the week. Low game of 181. Right now, chance to go up by 42 after 3 frames. Bad shot, just came in high. It'll be the 6, the 9, and the 10 pin, and Sean's thinking, well, gosh, that was nice of him not to strike. At least I've got some type of chance here with many frames to go.
Well, Danny's TV winning percentage of 710 is the best in PBA history. He has a record of 27 and 11. Danny Wiseman now on lane 33. He's got 6 PBA national titles, 3 regional titles, and has been a member of the PBA for 15 years. Danny leaves the 2 pin standing.
Fortunate just to have the 2 pin as the ball came in very, very light. Head pin did not get enough of the head pin in order to knock it into the 2. Fortunate just to leave only the single pin spare and shouldn't have any problem making it. Very good spare shooter. Generally switches balls, goes very, very hard, very straight at all spares.
Couple strikes, couple spares for Danny Wiseman in the first 4 frames, and Sean Swanson finds himself down by 28 pins. Certainly not an insurmountable lead, Marshall.
No, and his opportunity right now to get right back into the match. If he could throw a double here, not only would he cut 10 pins off that lead, but he'd make a statement. Now, that's not the statement he wants. The same shot that Danny Wiseman just left on lane 33. As he leaves the 2-pin, needs to get the ball higher into the pocket, way, way light into the pocket, just barely touches the head pin, no chance for it to knock into the 2. Take a look at his reaction. He knows it's just not to be right now.
And that ball had a hurry. It looked for a second like it wasn't going to get there, Mark.
Well, he likes to throw the hook on his spares. Danny Wiseman, certainly a much more versatile player. Sean Swanson, he wants to throw the big hook, and he always will.
If either bowler strikes here in the 5th, $1,000 will be donated to the PBA Tour Foundation, courtesy of Budweiser.
Just don't want to give Danny too much of the big lead early. Sean Swanson must get a strike here, cut this lead down a little bit. Boy, he makes a great shot, doesn't quite get the roll of the 6-pin as it lays in the channel and leaves the 10. Take a look at his style. He drifts well to the left, throws the ball way out to the right. Watch the 6-pin. It just gets stuck in the channel, and it's the soft 10. Danny Wiseman is taking a re-rec on lane 34. Didn't like the way the pins were set up. And generally what the players look at is the 1 and the 3. They look at the pocket. It might have been a little bit open. It might have been a little bit closed. You want to make sure the pocket is just right, give you the best opportunity to throw a strike. With a 30-pin lead right now, Danny's not quite on cruise control, but certainly well in command.
And that's $1,000 to the PBA Tour Foundation, courtesy of Budweiser.
Take a look at Danny Wiseman as he really reaches out down the lane, projects the ball. Here it comes, hooking well back into the pocket. Chance to take another 10 pins onto that lead to go to 40 pins after only 6 frames with a strike here on lane 33.
And Danny Wiseman leaving the 3-6-10 in the 6th frame.
Ball did not get off his hand cleanly, Gary. That ball stuck a little bit. He actually lofted the ball further down the lane because it hung on his hand. Wasn't able to get it to his target and leaves a 3-6-10. You always want to keep your momentum going. And he does, making that very, very difficult spare.
So Danny Wiseman picks it up. We're midway through the 6th in our championship match of the PBA Oregon Open. Welcome back to CBS Sports coverage of the PBA Tour. Danny Wiseman, 30-pin lead over Sean Swanson. I'm Gary Seibel, along with PBA Hall of Famer Marshall Holman. We still have a tournament going here, Marshall. Sean Swanson not out of it yet.
Well, he's not, Gary, but he needs to get something going now. Being down 30 pins, he's got half the game left. This is the time to get it going.
Midway through 6 frames in our championship match.
You never know how many opportunities you'll have to win a tournament. This might be it for Sean for a while, and he leaves a solid 10. He made the shot he needed to make, but the 6-pin goes right around the 10. Best he can do is make a spare. Danny Wiseman just waiting his turn.
And Sean Swanson converting the spare. We have now completed 6 frames in the championship match, and Danny Wiseman in a good position right now. 31 up on Sean Swanson.
Well, Sean Swanson's bowled 6 frames, Gary. He has yet to throw his first strike. And another solid 10.
Keep picking him up, Sean.
Back in the pocket at least, but he needs to not just make the good shots, he needs to carry, needs to knock them all down, put some pressure on Danny Wiseman.
Midway through the 7th frame, Danny Wiseman up. And, you know, Danny Wiseman made up for last week, Marshall, missing the top 4 by 1 pin in Lakewood, California. He's on his way. He hasn't won it yet, but he's on his way to this championship.
Well, we spoke of it earlier, the redemption for Danny Wiseman, who just missed last week. Watch the execution of this particular shot. Ball's out, ball's back. It's solid in the pocket. And a good reaction from Danny, who knows 1 more, 10 more pins, closer to victory.
Last week, he was in the position to control his own destiny. He couldn't do it. This week, he's in a similar position. If he were to strike out from here on out, it would be over. He'd do it.
And a great shot on lane 33 as he comes in light. Scatters the pins all over the place, Gary. Takes an extra 10-pin lead and really is in command of this game. Take a look at Danny Wiseman. Really well underneath the ball. Straight lift, good power. Scatters him down. And Sean Swanson is in very, very tough position right now. There you go, Sean. It took him 8 frames, Gary, but he finally got a strike here in the title match. Now, Sean Swanson can do no better than 204. If he were to strike here in the 9th frame with 3 strikes in the 10th, he's got a possible 204. Danny Wiseman would just have to throw a couple of spares or strikes, and it would be over.
Sean knows what he has to do.
Not over yet, Sean. At least that puts you within shouting distance as he celebrates a little bit. Finally, he got a strike. At least when you finally got him going, he got him in pairs.
Come on, Danny.
2 marks. Spare here in the 9th, spare in the 10th. Danny Wiseman will win.
Kind of solid 10-pin for Danny Wiseman, but if he converts the spare, which we assume he will, then he's still looking very strong.
Well, yeah, we would think that Danny would make this, although the 10-pin sitting all there by itself in the corner, it has been missed many times. It's a very, very crucial moment in the match. He needs to keep his form, keep his routine. You notice he's not hurrying himself. He's got the same 3-shot routine, going with the ball. It doesn't hook as much. Very important to make this 10-pin. And he almost misses it, Gary. That was very close. He needs a mark here in the 10th frame, and the PBA Oregon Open will belong to Danny Wiseman.
Marshall, just when you think it's safe to declare a winner. But he did pick up the spare.
And that's why they go with the harder ball. It gives them more room, and that's what the bowlers are always looking for. They're looking for margin of error. Had he have used the ball he used to strike on, it would have hooked left, missed the 10-pin altogether. Leaves nothing but the 2-pin, Gary. Needs to spare.
We said that in the last frame.
Well, he's very, very fortunate that's just the 2-pin. Sean Swanson watching. I don't think he likes his chances right now, but I know from experience that when you need a mark, no matter what it is, you've got to be a little bit jittery. Needs to make this fair, and then after he makes this, he's going to need 1 pin. Now he finally figured out what he needed. He didn't know what the heck the score was, Gary. He looked over, saw the scoreboard. He knows he needs 1 pin, has to stay behind the foul line. Just a couple of routine things.
Well, one of Danny's superstitions is that he doesn't look at the scores or watch the opponents. There is the winner. Danny Wiseman has taken the 1998 PBA Oregon Open. We'll be back in a moment. Our scoreboard shows the top seed Danny Wiseman has defeated Shawn Swanson in the championship match of the PBA Oregon Open. So for Marshall Holman, I'm Gary Seibel saying so long from Portland, Oregon, where Danny Wiseman has won the 1998 PBA Oregon Open. Coming up next, CBS Sports takes you to Lamont, Illinois for live third-round coverage of the Motorola Western Open.